Part 7. It was he indeed. The clerk's lamp lighted up his face. He held his hat in hand. There was no disorder in his dress. His overcoat was carefully buttoned. He was very pale and trembled slightly. His hair, already grey when it came to Erard, was now perfectly white. It had become so during the hour that he had been there. All eyes were strained toward him. The sensation was indescribable. There was a moment of hesitation in the auditory. The voice had been so thrilling, the man standing there appeared so calm, that at first nobody could comprehend it. They asked who had cried out. They could not believe that this tranquil man had uttered that fearful cry. This indecision lasted but a few seconds. Before even the judge and prosecuting attorney could say a word, before the gendarme and officers could make a sign, the man who all, up until this moment, had called Monsieur Madeleine, had advanced towards the witnesses, Cochepaille, Brevet, and Chenildieu. "Do you not recognize me?" said he. All three stood confounded, and indicated by a shake of their head they did not know him. Cochepaille, intimidated, gave the military salute. Monsieur Madeleine turned toward the jurors and court, and said in a mild voice, "Gentlemen of the jury, release the accused. Your Honor, order my arrest. He is not the man you seek, it is I. I am Jean Valjean." Not a breath stirred. To the first commotion of astonishment had succeeded a sepulchral silence. That species of religious awe was felt in the hall, which thrills the multitude at the accomplishment of a grand action. Nevertheless, the face of the judge was marked with sympathy and sadness. He exchanged glances with the prosecuting attorney, and a few whispered words with the assistant judges. He turned to the spectators and asked in a tone which was understood by all, "Is there a physician here?" The prosecuting attorney continued, "Gentlemen of the jury, the strange and unexpected incident which disturbs the audience inspires us, as well as yourselves, with a feeling we have no need to express. You all know, at least by reputation, the Honourable Monsieur Madeleine, Mayor of Montreuil-sur-Mer. If there be a physician in the audience, we unite with his Honour the Judge in entreating him to be kind enough to lend his assistance to Monsieur Madeleine and to conduct him to his residence." Monsieur Madeleine did not permit the prosecuting attorney to finish, but interrupted him with a tone full of gentleness and authority. These are the words he uttered. We give them literally, as they were written down immediately after the trial, by one of the witnesses of the scene, as they still ring in the ears of those who heard them, now nearly 40 years ago. "I thank you, Monsieur Prosecuting Attorney, but I am not mad. You shall see. You are on the point of committing a great mistake. Release that man. I am accomplishing a duty. I am the unhappy convict. I am the only one who sees clearly here, and I tell you the truth. What I do at this moment, God beholds from on high, and that is sufficient. You can take me since I am here. Nevertheless, I have done my best. I have disguised myself under another name. I have become rich. I have become a mayor. I have desired to enter again among honest men. It seems that this cannot be. In short, there are many things which I cannot tell. I shall not relate to you the story of my life. Some day you will know it. I did rob Monseigneur the Bishop. That is true. I did rob Petit Gervais. That is true. They were right in telling you that Jean Valjean was a wicked wretch. But all the blame may not belong to him. Listen, your honours. A man so abased as I have no remonstrance to make with Providence, nor advice to give to society. But mark you, the infamy from which I have sought to rise is pernicious to men. The galleys make the galley slave. Receive this in kindness, if you will. Before the galleys, I was a poor peasant, unintelligent, a species of idiot. The galley changed me. I was stupid, I became wicked. I was a log, I became a firebrand. Later, I was saved by indulgence and kindness, as I have been lost by severity. But pardon, you cannot comprehend what I say. You will find in my house, among the ashes of the fireplace, the 40-sou piece of which 7 years ago I robbed Petit Gervais. I have nothing more to add. Take me, great God. The prosecuting attorney shakes his head. You say Monsieur Madeleine has gone mad. You do not believe me. This is hard to be borne. Do not condemn that man at least. What? These men do not know me? Would that Javert was here. He would recognize me. Nothing could express the kindly yet terrible melancholy of the tone which accompanied these words. He turned to the three convicts. Well, I recognize you. Brevet, Do you remember? He paused, hesitated a moment, and said, Do you remember those checkered knit suspenders that you had in the galleys? Brevet started as if struck with surprise, and gazed wildly from head to foot. He continued, Chenaudieu, surnamed by yourself Genedieu, the whole of your left shoulder has been burned deeply, from laying it one day on a chafing dish full of embers, to efface the letters TFP, which are still to be seen there. Answer me, is this true? It is true, said Chenaudieu. He turned to Cochepaille. Cochepaille, you have on your left arm, near where you have bled, a date put in blue letters with burnt powder. It is the date of the landing of the Emperor at Cannes, March 1st, 1815. Lift up your sleeve. Cochepaille lifted up his sleeve. All eyes around him were turned to his naked arm. A gendarme brought a lamp. The date was there. The unhappy man turned toward the audience and the court with a smile, the thought of which still rends the hearts of those who witnessed it. It was the smile of triumph. It was also the smile of despair. You see clearly, said he, that I am Jean Valjean. There were no longer either judges or accusers or gendarmes in the hall. There were only fixed eyes and beating hearts. Nobody remembered longer the part which he had to play. The prosecuting attorney forgot that he was there to prosecute, the judge that he was there to preside, the counsel for the defense that he was there to defend. Strange to say, no question was put, no authority intervened. It is the peculiarity of sublime spectacles that they take possession of every soul and make of every witness a spectator. Nobody, perhaps, was positively conscious of what he experienced, and undoubtedly nobody said to himself that he there beheld the effulgence of a great light, yet all felt dazzled at heart. It was evident that Jean Valjean was before their eyes. That fact shone forth. The appearance of this man had been enough fully to clear up the case, so obscure a moment before. Without any need of further explanation, the multitude, as by a sort of electric revelation, comprehended instantly, and at a single glance, this simple and magnificent story of a man giving himself up, that another might not be condemned in his place. The details, the hesitation, the slight reluctance possible were lost in this immense luminous fact. It was an impression which quickly passed over, but for the moment it was irresistible. I will not disturb the proceedings further, continued Jean Valjean. I am going, since I am not arrested. I have many things to do. Monsieur the prosecuting attorney knows where I am going, and will have me arrested when he chooses. He walked toward the outer door. Not a voice was raised, not an arm stretched out to prevent him. All stood aside. There was at this moment an indescribable divinity within him, which makes the multitudes fall back and make way before a man. He passed through the throng with slow steps. It was never known who opened the door, but it is certain that the door was open when he came to it. On reaching it, he turned and said, Monsieur the prosecuting attorney, I remain at your disposal. He then addressed himself to the auditory. You all who are here, think me worthy of pity, do you? Great God, when I think of what I have been on the point of doing, I think of myself worthy of envy. Still, would that all this had not have happened. He went out, and the door closed, as it had opened. For those who do deeds sovereignly great are always sure of being served by somebody in the multitude. Less than an hour afterward, the verdict of the jury discharged from all accusation the said Champmathieu, and Champmathieu, set at liberty forthwith, went his way stupefied, thinking all men mad, and understanding nothing of this vision.